All right, guys, so we just parked and we have to walk 4 blocks to the ferry dock. We are nervous, but we're excited. All right, so we are about to get on the ferry. I'm not sure what April's pack weighs, but mine weighs 29 pounds. It's gonna be great. So April and I made it to St. Mary's, Georgia. We caught the ferry to Sea Camp Dock on the island. And we are starting on the parallel trail. We have 7 miles to Yankee Paradise, which is our campground tonight. And so far it is beautiful here. Here are just really lovely, like particularly beautiful. What? Says, oh, to this bushwhacking. When we left the car, my pack was looking super big and feeling super heavy. The only thing I could think of to toss was my rain gear, and I looked at the forecast one last time. It said not even a cloud in sight for the next 3 days. So I left my rain gear. Now April thinks she hears thunder. April and I are eating salami and hard cheese sandwiches on tortillas with mayonnaise. Now we're eating Rice Krispie treats and a payday, and then we're gonna eat Slim Jims and Cheez-Its. Y'all, April's on Facebook. So if you guys think that April and I are goofy now, just wait. It gets worse. Kind of hard to see, but there's our first wild horse back there. Just past the Hickory Hill campsite, and I think we have like 1.3 miles to Yankee Paradise. We finally made it. That last like 1.3 miles felt like 10. To do this twice today. Go, April! Alright guys, so April just hung her first bear bag up there. Yay! Alright guys, so we're set up at camp. Other people around. All right, so April and I walked the 7 or so miles to our camp. We set up camp, we chilled a little bit, and then we decided that we would actually go ahead and make another 2 miles and go to Plum Orchard Mansion tonight, and that'll give us more time tomorrow to do stuff like on the far northern end of the island. So we hung our bear bag since we were leaving camp, and we're going to the mansion. So this will be a 9-mile day. 7 with packs, 2 without. And it feels so good to not have the pack. Like, so good. We're just a little bit concerned because we are hiking to the mansion and it kind of starts raining. Like, not raining, just drizzling. But we left the fly off April's tent, and I left my vestibules open. I think my stuff would be fine, but if it really rained, April's stuff in her tent would get soaked. So hopefully we're good. So we are at Plum Orchard Mansion, and it is pouring rain. Like, we feel like such idiots. We left April's fly off her tent, y'all, like off the top of her tent. My vestibule doors are open, but it's not as bad as April's. Like, her fly's off, and her deer's inside. So, you know, lesson learned, but it might be the hard way. On the other hand, this place is like insanely beautiful, like magical, just gorgeous. You know, we're the only ones out here. It's just so strange to walk into the wilderness for 8 miles and come across like a literal southern plantation mansion with beautiful grounds and next to the river. I mean, it's something else. I'm tempted to say it's worth it, but if April's stuff is soaked, it won't be worth it, but that's our fault. Oh man, wish us luck. I hope April's stuff is dry. Well, good morning, guys. We survived the night, barely, not really. But April described it as a fiasco, and it was a fiasco. I mean, it was insane. So we were not expecting rain, and we went off from our campsite to go ahead and walk to the Plum Orchard Mansion last night. We thought the weather was perfect. There was no sign of rain. We left our stuff out, left our tents open. April left her fly off her tent. Everything was great. It started sprinkling on the way to the Plum Orchard Mansion, and we were kind of like, you know, maybe we should go back, but we were already, I don't know, maybe 0.7 miles in, and it was just sprinkling, and we thought, oh, it's gonna pass. By the time we get back to our campsite, you know, there'll be no point, you know, having gone back. So we continued on to the mansion, and for a minute it was magical. Like, the mansion was beautiful and we had it all to ourselves, and it really was just incredible. And then the bottom fell out. Like, it started pouring rain, and we didn't have any rain gear. You know, I had left my rain gear in the car like a moron, and April didn't have her poncho with her, and so we had to filter our water at the mansion in the rain and like book it back. So we did. We came like a mile back after having walked around the mansion, and we were hoping, Lord, please let it not have rained on our stuff. Like, maybe we'll get lucky and someone will have closed up our stuff for us, like taken pity on us, or maybe it wouldn't have rained at our campsite or something. Well, we go back and like none of the good things that we'd hoped would happen were true. Like, April's stuff was pretty freaking wet. Like, her tent had standing water in it, her sleeping bag had standing water in it. You know, it was just a no-go. April and I just kind of mitigated the situation as best we could. We put her sleeping bag in my tent to kind of dry out. We put my sleeping bag in her tent to make room. And then, as if things like weren't bad enough, it started raining again, and we realized April's tent was just like leaking through the walls. Like, I'm not talking like condensation, I'm talking like seeping through the walls, puddling up in the tent on like near my sleeping bag, which was the only dry sleeping bag we had at this point. And so, you know, we tried to get it together again. We tried to move everything into my tent. We're soaking wet at this point, like literally soaking wet. We, you know, managed to cook dinner, and then it's time to hang our bear bag, and I like can't even tell that story. Like, we had so much trouble hanging our bear bag in the rain and in the dark. Like, it was bad. Let's see, gotta switch hands. So we finally got it hung. I mean, just crazy. I think we probably sounded and looked like a couple drunk girls who should have no business in the woods. And we came back, and you know, then we had to try to get into dry sleep clothes and get into the tent without soaking it, even though we were soaking wet. And y'all, it was just bad. I mean, like, it was bad on a ton of different levels. We weren't sure if our texts were going through to our family back home, and we were afraid they were going to send search and rescue to us, and my satellite device wouldn't work. Like, I'm probably missing things, but just the whole thing was bad. Oh, our chargers wouldn't work. Our chargers were wet. So April and I hunkered down in my 2-person tent, and actually we slept okay. Like, you know, we made it through the night. Thank goodness my tent kept us dry and safe, and my bag was still warm. We shared my bag and slept in our jackets, and I mean, we made it work. I'm kind of proud of us for that. But it was seriously like a pretty bad experience, and an experience that we learned a lot from. You know, never ditch your rain gear. Apparently, don't trust the weather forecast. Be prepared for anything. Don't let your electronics get wet. I don't know, just a ton of lessons. We did so many things wrong, to be honest. But I think we just have to be humble about it and admit that we were idiots. We did some stuff really wrong. We paid for it. I think last night she and I were both thinking, like, that's it, we're going home in the morning. But this morning we made the decision to truck on. We're going to go to our next campsite. We're going to hang everything out to dry. We're going to make the most of it. And as long as we can stay out here safely, even if not comfortably, we're going to keep doing it. And so, you know, you just got to do the best you can. So that's what we're doing. Up in this tree eating lunch. So for lunch today it's cheese and salami with mayonnaise on bagels. Alright, so April and I made it to our campground, and it is beautiful. I mean, like, incredibly beautiful. By the water, nice places to put the tent. The water source is right there in the camp. It's like a hand pump well. So I can't wait to show the campsite to you guys, but I didn't have time before we left again. April and I are back at it. As soon as we got to camp, we laid out all our wet stuff to dry. We had the perfect spot to do that at camp, and things dried pretty quickly. We set up camp, we did as many chores as we could, and we decided to go ahead and hike all the way to the north tip of the island tonight, to the African settlement and church and the cemetery and the ruins lookout point. So it's like 4 something and we are heading out on another adventure. This time we made sure to bring our rain stuff. We put everything in a place where it can stay dry if it decides to rain. We brought April's rain gear, and I brought my cowboy camping tarp to wrap around me if it starts raining. So I think we're prepared this time. We are thinking we'll probably be hiking back in the dark, so we're gonna take the trail up to the north point of the island, but hike the road back in the dark with our headlamps. So exciting stuff. April and I are loving this like forest section of the trail. I was thinking that like it feels mystical and magical, and then April like nailed it. What is it, sis? What does it feel like?
Christmas!
Christmas! So April and I had a lovely few minutes just sitting and relaxing at the north tip of the island by the water, and now we are night hiking to the cemetery, and then to the church, and then to some house, and at some point we're gonna have dinner. And there's a snake.
My days, I remember them soldier boys tripping over themselves doing our praise.
How creepy is this, guys? So we went ahead and left the African Baptist Church. It was wonderful. Really enjoyed it for all of like 3 seconds. And we are hiking back. We have about a mile to the main road, and then like another 2.5 miles to camp. So yeah, we got a lot of night hiking ahead of us. I'm a diamond in the rough, a shining piece of gold, trying to reach my goal. My powers of speech unimpeachable.
The Hamiltons move uptown and learn to live with the unimaginable.
But her body's saying hell yes. Ah! So apparently when you're night hiking, everything is a snake. Everything. Especially after you saw a snake like 0.2 miles in. Well, we're taking a break by the side of the trail just to rest our tired legs. Still night hiking.
We haven't had that spirit here since 1969. And now I've gone and thrown it all away. Bum, 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 bum.
We will not know. We will not let you go. Let him go. So a couple times tonight, April and I have turned off the lights and looked up at the stars, and they are beautiful. Guys, so April and I are getting back to camp. We're gonna really quickly eat something for dinner, get cleaned up, and get to bed. Alright, so I was pretty skeptical about the eggs, and yeah, they're not great, and they'll probably never come out of my pot. But the grits seem to be doing fine, you know. Gonna try it, see how it goes. Okay guys, so it's our second morning at camp, and I thought I would show you this beautiful campsite. So this is Brickhill Bluff, and we really couldn't have been like more pleased with this campsite. It is just gorgeous. So obviously we are right here by the water. We are almost a little too close to the water. When the tide comes in like it is now, it's pretty close to our tents. But anyway, we set up camp right here. Everything's kind of a mess. We're going to get organized here in a little bit and head out. There's April's little tent. She was actually able to sleep in last night. This is where we kind of been like cooking and eating there. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I've never camped in a place so good. So yesterday when we came in, we hung our laundry between these trees while the tide was down, made a clothesline, dried out all of our wet stuff, so that was awesome. And then this morning we actually did like some legit laundry, like washed some things off. And we have some things hanging over there. So yeah, it's just a really, really beautiful sight. Really my favorite place that I've ever camped. So that's Brickhill Bluff. Hey guys, good morning. So April and I are enjoying our third morning on Cumberland Island. We're at Brickhill Bluff Campground. This is an incredible campground. We've loved it here. So yesterday we had a really long day. Like we kind of got lost coming to Brickhill Bluff and added some extra mileage. And then I don't know what we were thinking last night, but we wanted to go all the way to the north point of the island and then see the African church and then come back in the dark. So we did that, but it made for all in all a 12.2 mile day. I think it was like 4.5 with our packs, and the rest, you know, we didn't have our full packs. We were just kind of slack packing it. But anyway, it was a really long day, and we were like, you know, shuffling into camp last night. So we agreed that we would take it easy today. So we slept in, we took our time, we had our coffee, we had a nice breakfast. We just, you know, enjoyed the morning at this beautiful campsite. So here soon though, we are going to get packed up and head to our third campsite at Hickory Hill. Hopefully it's nice. It's going to be hard to beat Brickhill Bluff, but we're feeling good. You know, that first night was pretty rough when we got totally rained out. But we're so glad that we continued on, because yesterday was beautiful. Like even our creepy night hiking that was way too long, we kind of regretted, like even that was fun. And the view at the north point of the island was really beautiful. So yeah, we're having a great time. Just love being here. Well guys, April and I are doing good. We are walking to Hickory Hill campsite. We are on the Lost Trail, which so far gets the award for most spiders and a lot of bushwhacking. Maybe not the most we've seen, but still a lot. We just kind of needed a little break. Well, we are 0.4 miles from camp tonight, and we are filling these packs tonight. April and I both Our backs and legs and everything are hurting, but we're almost there. So we're beginning to think we are lost. We have definitely been more than 0.4 miles or whatever. And now it looks like we're coming up on the freaking beach. We just got scared to death by the horses. We're just ready to get to camp, y'all. All right, guys, so this is what happened. April and I felt like, man, this is the longest 0.4 miles ever. And we ran into a horse. Like, it was pretty close to us in front of the trail, and it was hard to see on that trail. And we waited and we waited for it to pass. It just stayed in the trail. We finally had to like book it around it. And then we kept hearing other horses close to the trail. Their poop and their tracks were everywhere. It was like we just entered into horse town or something. Like, it was crazy. And we were kind of scared of them because in that place we couldn't see them. We could just kind of hear them and every now and then like get a glimpse of the one or two that we did see. So anyway, we booked it out of there. And then it started to look like we were coming onto the beach. And we consulted the map and realized, basically, like, long story short, that we had gone in the wrong direction and gone all the way to the beach and added like 1.3 miles one way to our trip, and it was getting dark and we were in horse country. So we made the split decision to not stealth camp on the beach and go ahead and book it back to the campsite. And so we did that. A good bit was kind of in the dark. I mean, we booked it. So that made for 8 miles of the pack today, and we were already tired. And we are hurting, and it was a creepy, like, half jog back. We got to see the beach. But anyway, we made it back to camp. Thank God we found a decent place to camp, and we're eating dinner, biscuits and gravy, and it is really good. So long day. Something else crazy happened. Like, we can't get through a single day without something crazy happening. But we're doing good. Still having fun. Still glad to be here, and you know, we're safe. We did it. So I'm finally getting to use my leukotape. After April and I booked it last night, I had a hot spot. It's trying to become a blister right there. So we'll see if this helps. Guys, I completely forgot to get a picture of our campsite when it was still set up. But this is Hickory Hill. At least our little spot at Hickory Hill. So I'm just taking a little break while April is using the bathroom. Drinking some water with electrolytes and eating some peanut butter. We almost just got lost again, or we did get lost for a few minutes. There was a tree, like a huge tree, blown down over the trail, as it turns out, blocking the trail. And then we followed, you know, what we thought was the trail, but we're actually, I guess, like animal trails, whatever. And so we got pretty turned around, kind of scary for a few minutes, but we made it back. We're still doing it. I guess really this is a great learning opportunity. I'm used to just following trails where, you know, follow the blazes, one way to go till you get to a set destination, but here it's been very like, you know, create your own adventure. You can choose different paths, go different routes to get to where you're going. And you really have to navigate. There aren't blazes, there aren't trail signs. You know, you have a map and you have your instinct, and that's what you're working with. So it's been a little crazy, but it's been a good experience for me. I am glad I didn't come alone this time. I was telling April that I'm really glad she was with me for some of the excitement we've had this time. So anyway, we're back on the trail, and we are heading back to Sea Camp Dock. we made it back to Sea Camp Dock. So it was 5.3 miles this morning, which we did in about 3 hours. And yes, it feels so good to be done. It feels so good to have our packs off. It felt so good to use like flush toilets and like to wash our hands in the sea. So we feel very accomplished and very happy to be at Sea Camp Dock. So the ferry doesn't get here until 4:45 to take us home. So we are going to spend our afternoon seeing the Dungeness Ruins on the south side of the island. So we are leaving Sea Camp and taking the river trail to the ruins.